Shanks' Gryphon sword has the ability to use the mythical Zoan-type devil fruit, Tori Tori no Mi. Welcome back to Nika. You may not know this, but during a certain period, the author Oda depicted Shanks not using the Gryphon sword, but a different one. Specifically, in the cover of Chapter 838, Shanks' sword has a different handle design compared to the current Gryphon sword. Shanks is attending a wedding where the groom is a member of the red-haired pirates, who is not seen in the scene. What we are also interested in here is that before using the Gryphon, Shanks used a different sword, as seen in Chapter 1 and Chapter 552. Recently, we see Shamrock appearing with an appearance similar to Shanks, revealing that they are twin brothers. Shamrock uses a sword named Cerberus, which creates a three-headed wolf, to attack Loki. This implies that Shamrock's sword is named Cerberus, similar to Shanks' Gryphon sword. Both swords are named after mythical beasts, carrying great power and terrifying legends. If Cerberus is a sword that absorbs the power of a devil fruit, why not suspect that Gryphon also carries the power of a devil fruit, right? In this video, we will talk about the mysteries related to Shamrock and Shanks' swords to better understand them together. By now, you've probably already made a cup of coffee, right? Let's dive deeper into the Gryphon and Cerberus swords. Let's go! Shamrock confirms that Shanks once returned to the Holy Land of Mary Geoise to meet the Figarland family, meet Shamrock, and of course, including their father, Figarland Garling. Garling agreed to overlook the time Shanks spent as a pirate on Roger's ship, convincing Shanks to become a celestial dragon and serve the world government. However, Shanks refused the conditions, determined to return to the vast world outside to become a pirate with an undefeated crew known as the Red-Haired Pirates. For a while, this event went unnoticed, but I believe it happened around 13 years ago, based on the handle design of Shanks' Gryphon sword. In Chapter 1, Shanks appeared in the East Blue with a sword that had a twisted handle, not piercing through like the current Gryphon sword. This means that 13 years ago, Shanks was still using his old sword in each of his appearances. For a swordsman, the sword is always with them, and that's something unchangeable, right? In Chapter 434, when Shanks appeared on Whitebeard's ship over 2 years ago, he was seen using the Gryphon sword until today. Remember Zoro? He always uses treasures and is grateful for the swords that accompany him through the years. In Chapter 489, when the Yubashiri sword was damaged, Zoro honored the sword by planting it in the ground as a grave, and the samurai of Wano, when they die, are buried with their sword placed on their grave. The deceased takes their sword with them until someone suitable becomes their new master. Gecko Moria chose Wano's Shusui, the sword of Shimotsuki Ryuma. When Ryuma's shadow was defeated by Zoro, the Shusui sword accepted Zoro as its new owner, and he returned it respectfully to Wano. As for Shanks, he didn't change swords because his old sword was damaged. With the equipment in Chapter 838, Shanks still used it to attend someone's wedding. Overall, Shanks currently holds 2 swords. However, in an important battle, Shanks uses Gryphon. For instance, during his battle against the Yonko Whitebeard, against Admiral Akainu at Marineford, or recently when he defeated Kid. Up to now, we have always been certain of one thing. The red-haired pirates don't have anyone who uses a devil fruit. They fight relying on skills and haki, but are still undefeated in every battle. However, Shanks' sword seems to have absorbed the power of a devil fruit, which doesn't seem to violate this fundamental rule. This is a very interesting case based on Shamrock's Cerberus sword. When attacking Loki, Shamrock summons Cerberus like his pet to decide Loki's fate. The Cerberus was seen to be incredibly ferocious, with monstrous strength, and each of its heads grew a sword, even detaching from its body to attack Loki. An item absorbing the power of a devil fruit is not unfamiliar to fans. We have previously seen Spandam's sword having the elephant devil fruit, a bazooka having the dog devil fruit, Caesar's toxic gas having the chameleon devil fruit, and Kozuki Sukiyaki's teapot having the tanuki devil fruit in the main One Piece story. The principle of objects absorbing devil fruits has not yet been revealed, but one thing is certain: all of them are Zoan-type fruits, with will and the ability to give life to inanimate objects, and the animal personalities are clearly manifested, just like an elephant sometimes being afraid of Frankie or a dog having a cold. Could it be that Cerberus's sword has the traits of the most loyal dog, which must be prioritized and enhanced alongside the other abilities of a mythical Zoan devil fruit? It's unclear whether the name of the sword was given based on the devil fruit's power or if it was originally called Cerberus. Sometimes both happen, like the mythical wolf fruit in Wano that can only be found in Wano. This means that Cerberus's sword can only consume the mythical Zoan Cerberus devil fruit. First, they are swords with very similar structures. This makes me think that Garling may have been the one to find 3 swords of the same design for his family. Garling owns one, and the other 2 are for the twin sons, meaning Shanks would also have one family sword, even though Shanks refused to become a celestial dragon. As for the sword's rank, Gryphon and Cerberus definitely belong to the same tier, possibly the greatest swords. Up to now, only 5 out of the 12 greatest swords have appeared. Gryphon's rank has not been confirmed, but if the 3 swords of the Garling family belong to this tier, then it would make it 8 out of 12, leaving only 4 other swords in the world. Secondly, the mythology behind them. Cerberus is a 3-headed dog with a serpent-like tail, tasked with guarding the underworld, not allowing souls to escape. Cerberus is loyal to Hades, the king of the underworld. The mythology is similar to the serpent that guards the underworld, more precisely, Mary Geois in One Piece. You will see it as a dark and truly hellish place, hiding in the guise of the celestial world, where self-proclaimed gods live. They are no different from the scum, their power as dark as the realm of the dead during the attack on Sabo and King Cobra. On the other hand, Gryphon is a mythical bird with the head, wings, and front legs of an eagle and the body of a lion. Gryphon is likened to Zeus's silent hunting dog. Although there are various descriptions, the unified form in mythology is as such. The legend of Gryphon is tied to the task of guarding treasures, protecting priceless assets. Gryphon strives to protect the One Piece treasure of the Pirate King, where the world's truth will be exposed. If someone sees this treasure at the right time, the world will shift, changing the era. The contrast between Gryphon and Cerberus is like the guardians of heaven and hell. Cerberus always tries to protect the Cerberus treasure, ensuring the steady rule of the world's king, Emu, from those wanting to overthrow the world government. Gryphon always seeks to maintain order with Shanks, ensuring the era set by Roger is followed correctly until the One Piece treasure is claimed to change the course of history. Returning to the question of Shanks' sword, does it really absorb the power of a devil fruit, or is it just a very powerful sword? Based on Shanks' attack on Kid, when Shanks flies up, we see an image of a griffin bird in the anime before defeating Kid. In contrast, the manga does not show the griffin bird at all. The anime producers wouldn't have included the griffin image just because of Shanks' power or his sword alone, as this is a subtle direction from the author, Oda. Cerberus can form a 3-headed wolf to attack Loki, revealing Shamrock's true power. I believe Shanks is similar to his brother with his sword. At some point, at least 13 years ago, Shanks went to Mary Geois to respond to the invitation from the Fagarland family. That was the easiest time to persuade Shanks, and Garling must have presented alluring offers, because if Shanks were in the government's army and a holy knight, the government would easily defeat the Yonko based on the Fagarland family's power. Thirdly, this persuasion likely included the supreme sword called Gryphon. Every famous sword holds a unique power that any swordsman would desire to possess. For example, Zoro, when he saw Enma, couldn't help but drool, but exchanging it for a black sword like Shusui was a bit of a dilemma. However, if he was casually given Enma, why wouldn't he accept it? When holding the sword, it absorbs his haki to unleash tremendous power, and it's clear that Enma in Zoro's hands is much stronger. Shanks is the same. I am certain that when Shanks took the Gryphon sword, it was like the sword had chosen its master. Its special ability helped Shanks become stronger, so Shanks decided to steal it and reject Garling's invitation. It's no coincidence that there is a sword named Cerberus and another named Gryphon in 2 different places. It's like the Ketsu sword line, where all 3 swords were forged in Wano and belong to the Kozuki family. Therefore, I believe the 3 swords of Garling, Shamrock, and Shanks are all forged in the same workshop. Garling owns them all and passes them to his sons to protect the world government. This led to Shanks returning to the Holy Land of Mary Geois, receiving it, and deciding to refuse the role to return to the outside world with the Gryphon sword he had stolen. Don't forget that Shanks is a pirate. He didn't eat a devil fruit, but he sure knows how to steal one, not to mention a supreme sword with great power to help him maintain the world's order. But as I've mentioned, we still don't know if Shanks's Gryphon sword has eaten a devil fruit or not. I personally can't conclude yet because the manga hasn't shown the Gryphon bird like the anime did. Once it does, then I'll believe it. Right now, I still think it's Shanks' power that he channels into the Gryphon sword before using the Kamusari attack. What do you think about this? Please leave a comment below this video for me to check out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. See you soon.